Invincible,
Mm-hmm.
episode 5.
4?
Yeah,
No, 5.
5.
I don't
Yeah.
fucking know. Where are we at? What planet are we on?
I think it might be episode 4 actually, because we had
Was it a 2-episode debut
no
or a 3-episode debut?
3. I can't remember what week of this is we're on.
So this was
Oh,
no.
this
So
is
this
episode
was
5.
episode 5. This is
Yeah,
episode
okay, I
5.
was right.
Christ, there's so many shows going on at the minute, people.
Well, it's also like them doing these triple launches and then weeklies has just thrown me on episode
You have to
numbers.
like go. How many weeks has it been? Okay, and then multiply the first week by 3.
Yeah. Um, another good episode. Definitely, I would say a bit more of a filler episode.
It felt a bit more fillery, but it was also nice to get some kind of like ground level story that reminded you that there was still
Yeah,
hero shit to be done on Earth.
yeah,
Not
I
everything has to be as massive as Cecil and Mark are having a civil
yeah,
war in the fucking streets.
yeah. Uh, I like that they're with both Mark and Eve, and then the no longer teen trio, or whatever the ex Guardians of the Globe.
Yeah,
They're all having this issue of how do we make money? We have
yeah,
no money. Being a hero doesn't actually just pay unless you work for the government. Um,
yeah.
and then be like Eve setting them up as security hero on call security is hilarious.
Yeah. That's one of my favourite kind of story tropes we've seen. I think like one of the more famous ones from like Marvel side is like Heroes for Hire, which is like Luke Cage and Iron
Hmm.
Fist. But I do enjoy like the heroes making being a hero their job and trying to balance the doing what is right versus making money versus
Mm-hmm.
because if you make it so every hero is poor all the time, a la Spider-Man, it gets a
Yeah.
bit repetitive. And if you make it so that every superhero is a rich person, that sends a whole different message that just isn't true.
Yeah.
So like you get the okay, how do a normal person juggle just leaving work in the middle of the day and not losing their job? And it's like they make being a hero their job. It's a fun trope, and I enjoyed
Yeah.
seeing their spin on it with like the your prison's being underfunded.
Yeah. Your
Why don't you
prison's
just pay
underfunded.
us?
You've had a lot of breakouts recently. Maybe you need a hero to help you look better. But yeah, I mean, a fun
It was
episode
such a
nevertheless.
ball ache. It was. It was a very fun episode.
I'm trying to know what else went. Oh, the whole the creepy dragon guy.
Yeah. So I can't remember was it episode 3 or episode 2 we had our first encounter with like the order of the season, where
Yes.
one of the heads of the order from like China direction, basically went, "My assassin's in your prison. You have to break him out." And
Yeah.
that's kind of what this episode was
Multiple.
all about. Yeah, this episode was all about Titan trying to work out
Mm.
if he could, how he could. He doesn't want to be under their thumb. How does
Yeah.
he make this work? And we ended up getting a very traditional kind of like kaiju fight, which was kind of cool.
Yes. uh, they ended up fighting this old guy in his dragon spirit form.
Yes, which I think again it's like really cool that he just like the dragon's inside his body and it like leaves his body vulnerable, so he has this massive
Yeah.
bodyguard. And the bodyguard isn't because he needs protection as such, because he can be a dragon.
No.
It's so there's someone to protect the body while the dragon's fucking stuff up.
Yeah. I also enjoyed that this was like when him and the dragon and Mark are fighting him, it's like, yeah, you might be a Viltrumite and might be like the strongest being on Earth, but I'm essentially a god. I'm like the next level up. This is not going to be easy. Because obviously at this point we are starting to see Mark get stronger. So then it's getting to the point of we are seeing, oh no, nothing on Earth's going to be able to stop Mark. Like he is beating everything. So how do you raise the stakes on that? Well, you make him fight a god.
Yeah, and I think we saw part of it as well with the again, I know it's become almost a running theme. I wonder why. The kind of moral implication of what he's doing. Does he side with
Yes.
Titan, or does he not side with a criminal who already tricked him in the past back in season one,
Mm-hmm.
knowing that it might put a child in harm and maybe lead to someone worse than Titan being in power.
Mm.
And do you just accept the lesser of two evils, or do you just go, I'm not getting involved, I will fight whoever's committing crime currently?
Yeah, this season seems to be all about the moral dilemmas.
Hmm. Proper ethical conundrums every week, which is just the best
Yeah,
kind.
which I'm totally in for with this season if that is like the overarching theme throughout of like Mark trying to figure out what is doing the right thing and what is actually doing the wrong thing. But yeah, this
Also,
go on.
well,
Oh, I was gonna say that this idea that he has to protect the prison, but he doesn't want to do it just because this bad guy told him, but it is the right thing to do. But like trying to find where that line is of no, I'm doing this because I should be doing this, not because you've hired me to do this,
yeah,
even though it helps the same thing.
the familial household woes continue.
Yes,
Over a funny breakfast, which cracked me up.
yeah, that was
The
hilarious.
oh, we set an extra place here. I had a feeling you might be stopping by. Like, she did a great job, and obviously it was like referenced again later in the episode. But she did a great job of just letting them think they got away with it, and
Yeah,
then obviously have the funny Oliver go. They were making so much noise while they were playing in there.
really late.
They
Yeah,
woke me up. It was so loud.
and whereas the viewer just like, oh, that I would be mortified if I was at the
Oh
table
man,
and
just dreadful, dreadful stuff.
I'd just be like,
Um,
right, breakfast is over. See you later. We're going.
and then obviously later on in the episode when Mark confirms that no, they're not going to move out, he's going to
Yes.
stay at home and blah 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 blah. And then she tries to be the supportive mom. She's like, "I know you guys are having sex, and it's okay." And he's
No, we
like,
don't
and
need to talk about this.
he uses speech to clean everything up and goes, "He's like, good night."
Yeah. He's like, well, yeah, no, this conversation's over. It's like still typical teenager. And then also during all that home stuff, Oliver snuck out.
Yes, that was amazing, and like because the tension is so high, right? You just think he's about to rip someone in
Oh yeah,
half or
I
something.
was so ready for him to just destroy those bullies, and it'd be like, oh, this is the first step of over the line. But instead, he
Pants
just
them.
yeah, he just pants them, and I'm like, oh, maybe we're being too harsh. Maybe Oliver isn't actually going to crack and go
I
evil
feel
like we think.
I feel like that's going to be like a lot of the overarching story of Oliver. It's going to be like, is he more
Mm,
like Mark or is he more like
um,
Nolan? And
yeah,
where does he end up on that scale if we assume they're the two extremes? Or is he
yeah.
more extreme than one or the other and we find out that it could be worse?
I I think it's gonna be they're gonna do this where I fear they're gonna lull us into like a false sense of oh this like tension keeps happening and then no like and Mark's gonna relax as well and be like oh he is just a kid he is learning what's right and wrong like he knows he's not our dad like I need to stop treating him like he is going to become our dad and then Oliver's going to do something where he crosses a line and it's going to
Someone's
be
going to
then
steal a burger from fucking the burger shop and these guys just rip him in half. Yeah.
oh yes and then Mark's going to deal with the whole I've done wrong here. I should have been more careful with him. And then he's gonna really then it's gonna be an internal fight of like shit. I let off thinking it was fine, but it wasn't. Like again, the moral questions. But we'll have to wait and see with Oliver.
Yes, absolutely. I think the next, what, we've got 3 episodes left. I think it's all due to kick off from this week onwards. I
Okay.
think we're supposed to have three pretty intense episodes to finish off the season.
Okay.
Based on what I'm hearing, apparently this next episode is, according to people who've like seen it early, as people always do,
Mm-hmm.
it might be one of the best episodes of the show. Full stop.
Ooh.
Um, so that'll be an exciting one to see, and then find out what exactly
Yeah, what's gonna go
has
down?
happened. Yeah, It's always exciting when you hear like the next episode, by the way, is the one. I'm always curious as
Yes.
to whether that's going to end up being able to live up to the expectations I build for it in my head.
Also, like, I presume my presumption is we won't see these characters again this season, but we might do. But like, Multi Paul obviously did escape, even though they
Yeah.
think they stopped him, and Dragon Guy did return to his body. He's not dead. So I presume those are going to be villain characters that we see in the future.
Yeah, so it got revealed the dragon dude's still alive.
Hmm.
I'm curious what the implication of that is. The thing with Invincible is, obviously, it's been adapted from the comic to the show.
Yes.
In a comic book medium, you can kind of let stuff sit for a lot longer. Just go, by the way, this person's not dead, we might not do anything with it for fucking ages.
Yeah.
Whereas
They
in a
might.
TV format,
Hmm.
if something like that gets shown, you assume it's a more immediate threat. And it doesn't have to be. They're just going, by the way, that character's not dead. So we're not here, but like, oh, they're going to be back next week and they're going to be more pissed off. It's like, no, they might not be back for ages.
Yeah, I would say though with Invincible, like they've done this a couple of times. Like, is it Sinclair who makes those creepy little humanoid robots?
Yeah.
Like it was a while till he showed up again, and we're like, oh, Cecil's been using him. Um, so I see it being maybe a similar thing of like we probably don't see them this season, but maybe next season they show up again.
I completely agree. Multi-Paul, I feel like, might be a bigger part of the back end of the season just because he's been such a
Possibly.
prevalent part of the story so far. It was
Yeah.
interesting to see a bit more of him and Kate's history as well.
Yes.
And
That they were
seeing,
trained and they had different opinions on how that went.
I found like the revelation that they were born with their powers, so they went nuts as kids, and as a result, their father literally just lost his mind.
Mental, yeah.
Which, here's the thing, I get why Paul is angry with his father.
Mm-hmm.
His father couldn't handle being a father, and as a result, he was experimented on and turned into a murderous weapon.
Yeah.
I get why he harbours resentment. It also shows why therapy is important because I do think he needs someone to just go, okay, be reasonable. Your father thought he was raising a little boy and a little girl, and there was 400 of you running around the house.
Yeah.
It's a miracle
It's
he didn't completely lose his mind.
yeah. It was interesting that they like showed that kind of split of opinion on their time, whereas Kate was like, no, this is perfectly fine, and we've been trained to be like government superheroes. Whereas he's like, no, I'm gonna take this training and become an assassin. It pays better.
Yeah, and I'm not saying what he does is right, but I kind of get it. Just that kind of, you feel like you have a bit more freedom.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think it's any big secret that I don't inherently like the government. I think they're up to some
Really?
shady shit. Um, so I could kind of understand the implication of the government training you to be an assassin.
Yeah.
You don't know if you're actually on the right side or not.
Mm.
Whereas if you're a paid assassin, you're getting paid better, and you still don't know if you're on the right side or not.
But you're getting paid well, so.
Yeah. So like you're doing basically the exact
But
same shit. It's just choosing whether you want to be paid better.
well, it's also you can also look at it as like him going off and being a paid assassin. It's his choice to not know if he's doing right. Whereas with the government, it's like he doesn't have a choice. This is what he's being told to do.
Exactly. And that is a big difference, I think.
I wonder if he'll show up to his sister and there'll be a bit of like, I get the sense like she's unsure about Cecil, but obviously only stayed because Immortal was.
More paid, yeah.
So I wonder if it'll add a bit of tension to that and if they stay part of it or not.
Maybe. It's very possible. But overall, I thought it was a good episode. It was definitely a fillery episode in places, but I think it spent a decent amount of time developing longer running character arcs
Hmm.
rather than a story arc, maybe.
Yeah.
We got a bit of payoff to like Titan and Machine Head all the way
Yeah.
back
That's
from
a yeah.
season
That's
one.
a good point.
Just kind of pull a bit of things together and go, look, the world's still been spinning. These things have
Hmm.
changed. Let's jump back in and see what's going on before we crack on with what else is happening.
Yeah.